Hello, everybody. This is Tom Eckert here. You're listening to my podcast, Numerology, a GPS for the soul. This is your place to learn about the true power of numerology and how to use it to bring out the best in yourself, understand your loved ones better, take wise decisions, and prepare for your future. In other words, how to live your life aligned with your true destiny. Take your time to educate yourself and share these podcasts with your friends and family so they too can enjoy the great benefits of numerology. Enjoy! Hello there, and welcome to all my listeners to yet another exciting and unique episode. Today we're going to talk about the numbers 3 and 7 and what happens when such polar opposites meet. The youngest meeting the oldest, the lightest meeting the deepest. But before we dive in, if you're new here, welcome to my podcast. In this podcast, we discuss numerology as a path for inner transformation, spiritual growth, and self-knowledge. I attempt to make numerology accessible and applicable for everyday life matters and do my best to provide you with grounded and in-depth information so that you can apply numerology in order to live a better, a more conscious, and more balanced life that is aligned with your soul journey and your true purpose. Now, here are a few ways you can dive deeper into numerology. First and foremost, you can book a numerology reading with me. There are many types of readings. In a reading, you can ask any question that is burning in your life and get precise and self-curated answers. You can read more about my readings and book one through the link in the episode description. If you wish to study numerology on a deeper level, or even pursue it as a career, I'm inviting you to check out my 2 study paths. First, check out my self-study numerology course, where you can learn the fundamentals of numerology in a comprehensive way at your own pace on your mobile device, your tablet, or your laptop. Secondly, if you want to go deeper and become fully certified as a numerologist, from beginner to expert, check out my in-depth numerology study path. To read more about both paths, check out the links in the episode description. And now, without further ado, let us dive into today's topic. So if you learn the numbers deeply, you'll come to know that 3 is the simplest, lightest, most shallow of all numbers, and that 7 is the heaviest, most complex, and deep. This is not a judgmental statement, but rather just a description of structure, which is completely universal. When the lightest and shallowest number meets the deepest and most complex number, some funny, interesting, and unique dynamics take place. In this episode, I will explore how this encounter between 2 opposite numbers behaves in one person who embodies both numbers, and also between 2 people, each embodying the opposite number than the other. Now, some of the insights I'll be sharing in this episode are partly inspired by the Human Body Numerology that was passed down to me directly one-on-one by my beloved and talented numerology teacher from Israel, Sharon Ron, or as you would say in English, Sharon Ron. Okay, my friends, so one of the most striking differences between 3 people and 7 people is how they interpret life, events, and people. A 3 person, by nature, tends to look at people and be impressed, amazed, even admiring. They're naturally inclined to see the positive and look at people without assuming anything additional to what meets the eye. In that way, one can argue that they are both very trusting, but also naive and gullible. A number 7 person, on the other hand, can't help it but see many layers about people and things at once. When they look at you, they may see your smile, but also the pain behind the smile, and perhaps even the need to impress behind it all, and so on. It makes them more reflected, but also less trusting. Sometimes if you reflect the nature of these two numbers, you can't help it but feel that they cannot be more opposing and unfitting. Indeed, many of my numerology students, when asked about 3 and 7 as a number combination, will at first think they are disharmonious. I'm not saying they aren't disharmonious on some levels, but all in all, they're not disharmonious, as they also have many interesting meeting points, as you will soon discover. In the most surprising way, when a 7 and a 3 meet, they may actually enjoy the meeting quite a bit. The 7 person loves sharing wisdom and insight by nature. Their opinions are deep, strong, and reflected. The 3 person, on the other hand, loves receiving information and are in fact fascinated by strong minds. They love asking questions and having someone open their minds to new vistas and ways of approaching and understanding things. It's almost a perfect match for a conversation where one is more the teacher and the other more the student. The 3 person feels super excited to be able to receive so many exciting and thrilling answers, while the 7 person enjoys having their wisdom expressed and received so fully. They both really enjoy this interaction, one being the giver and the other the receptacle. A sort of win-win situation. An additional gift the 3 and 7 give to each other is balance. The 7, being for the most part a heavy and complex number, is being nourished by the natural ease, sweetness, lightness, and optimism of the 3. The 3 person helps the 7 lighten up and see the purely positive side of things without needing to add any unnecessary layer. This is truly a gift for a 7 person. And guys, I'm speaking from experience. I am a 7, a strong 7, loads of 7 in my chart. It's a joy sometimes sitting with a number 3. They help the 7 feel more trust in life and people and remind them that even though things are multi-layered, it doesn't always mean that they are complex and complicated and heavy, and that the answers to life and happiness might be far easier and simpler than they think. That's truly the gift of the 3 to the 7. Number 7 people, on the other hand, shower number 3 people with much clarity, wisdom, and therefore a deep sense of empowerment and better vision for the future. The 7 knows how to help the 3 person understand themselves much better and supports them in gaining insight about topics that challenge them. For the 3 person, this is invaluable and truly empowering, as suddenly they are given a true sense of direction and self-understanding, which they very often lack. The exchange here is naturally very appreciated by both, and they may truly enjoy a good friendship in which each one complements the other in very meaningful and balancing ways. Now, another really lovely thing that can take place when a 3 and 7 meet is the joy of exploring information together. Even though they have different approaches to information, knowledge, and learning, they certainly both love doing it and feel natural about it. Each brings their unique contribution to any form of exploration that includes learning new information. The 3 brings to the table much curiosity, enthusiasm, openness to new perspectives, and creative methods of learning, while the 7 brings to the table a powerful clarity, depth of observation, and the ability to tie in all the dots into one big insight. So 3 and 7 can certainly enjoy learning new stuff together. Next, I want to say a few words about what happens when 3 and 7 coexist in one person, when they are embodied in one's core numbers. But before I keep talking further, if you are enjoying this podcast and you want to keep learning more grounded, applicable, in-depth numerology, make sure to click the follow or subscribe button and turn on the notification bells on the platform you're listening from and become part of my numerology community. Also, check out the questions at the end of episodes. I'd love to hear from you. It helps me know more about you and provide you with better content. When both numbers 3 and 7 coexist in one person, you may bump into a highly curious type and also very creative person. These people are often very talented and are able to communicate complex matters in very digestible ways to other people, both in writing and in speech, by the way. My beloved numerology teacher, Sharon Ron, told me many years ago that 3-7 people often have lots of general knowledge. And over the years, I have confirmed that in my own experience. You know those people, just to give an example, who pick you up from the airport when you come for a visit and start pointing at various buildings, landscapes, on the go, and start telling you their story and history, right? It's like, here it used to be the city hall, but they actually changed it, and now it's just this whatever. Oh, and this hill, they used to always carry the whatever. You know what? You know what I'm talking about? It's like this. You're sort of sitting there perplexed by where on earth they got all this information. And well, that's a typical 3-7 person. They truly love learning new things all the time, like an eternal student. And the beauty is that they truly love every topic. You can literally make them hyped on any topic you present them. And they will be fully dialed in. They will be fully focused in their learning. That's so unique to 3-7 people. Now, remember, everything I'm describing about one person will be mostly valid if the 3-7 occupies their sacred triad, meaning the life path, expression number, or soul urge number. So the 3-7 will have to appear as a combination in one of those three. Now, the funny thing with 3-7 people is how they may switch from one sort of like persona to the other. One moment, they are childlike and playful, and the next, deep and thoughtful. This can sometimes cause discrepancy in the way they interpret and understand situations. They'll speak, for example, to the technical department agent who will say a few kind words and then think to themselves, "Oh, what a nice gal. She was so friendly." Only to realize the next day that friendliness was pretty empty and eventually actually only served to convince them to sign up for a contract that they don't really need from the first place. And so at first they were acting from their 3, right? Really believing, naive, kind of wowed by the person's behavior, face value. And then transitioned to their 7, right? And suddenly saw like the underlying layers, the undercurrents, and the real intentions. And when that happens, it's not uncommon for them to feel a bit stupid. Really, I'm using this word stupid because I've seen 3-7 people really feel like, oh gosh, I'm so stupid, right? Because of that sort of swing between such extremes. But that's the price you pay for being both the simplest, most trusting number and the deepest, most complex number. Now, coming back to a meeting between 2 separate people. When a 3 person meets a 7 person, it's not all magic and a sense of completing one another. In fact, it can be quite annoying, and I want to talk to that as well. From the perspective of the 7 person, the sometimes very shallow assertions of the 3 and their gullible or shallow outlook on life is just something they can't wrap their heads around. It feels so overly simplistic and superficial. Not to mention that the 3 loves talking a lot, asking many, many questions, and, well, constantly talking about themselves. It's a bit like a child. When you think of a child that constantly asks questions and you explain to them and then they ask the next question and it sort of never ends and the child always wants attention. I think it's always great to use the image of a child, really a child, the way we know children to be, to sort of understand also the annoying sides, the beautiful sides, but also the annoying sides of a 3. Again, in this context, from the perspective of a 7, right? So that can really make a 7 person impatient and feel like they're dealing with an infant. And as you possibly already know, 7 people aren't very notorious for their patience. They may sit there and think to themselves, wow, this dude is really unintelligent. Now, from the 3's perspective, the 7 may come off as a drag, someone who always sees the half-empty glass, who makes things unnecessarily heavy, and perhaps even a bit of a killjoy. They might think, why do they always have to make everything so complicated? From the 3's perspective, things can be very simple, and they don't understand why the 7s always need to ask a deep question about everything. Can't you just accept that it's simple and good? They can also feel that the 7's sharpness and strong mind is a bit overpowering and might want to withdraw as they feel like the 7 is trying to educate them too much. And as much as they enjoy learning from others, they're a tad bit susceptible to outside influences and therefore will try to block away the 7's powerful and very self-assured statements. So all in all, the 3 and 7 are really lovely together, and in my experience form a very unique interaction between two people, and also a very unique person when both are embodied in one's sacred triad. I think they can both really support one another and complement each other in fantastic ways, nourishing ways that both so desperately need. The 7 helps the 3 grow up and find meaning, direction, and depth. Things that are really challenging for number 3 people to find, while the 3 helps the 7 find ease, joy, an appreciation of simplicity, and a light approach to life. Again, something that 7s find really difficult to do. Now, isn't that beautiful? How two numbers that seem seemingly so far apart end up being so good for one another. So this is again also a lesson for all those of you who sometimes think, oh, I wish to know which numbers fit together as a couple. I always tell my students there is no such a thing, right? Because sometimes, like matches like, right? So similars fit and work together. But at other instances, opposites complement. You never know. When there is true love, that is the actual glue. So do not stick to any cookbook interpretations of relationship matches between numbers, because frankly speaking, and sorry for the language, that's just plain bullshit. It doesn't work this way. It's far deeper than that. So having said that, my friends, I hope that this information inspires you as always, just reveals yet again the depth and the beauty of numerology, and possibly tickles you to sort of go deeper and explore numerology and hopefully educate yourself, because, my friends, we need people educated with numerology to help our kids, to understand our parents, to understand our friends and our society, to appreciate our structure and everybody's structure. And so before I wrap this up, again, if you're enjoying this podcast and you want to keep learning in depth and grounded numerology, make sure to click the follow or subscribe button and turn on the notifications bell on the platform you're listening from and become part of my numerology community. Remember to also leave answers to questions at the end of episodes. It helps me provide you with better content by understanding you better. Don't forget also to check my Professional Numerology Readings, an incredible way to get to know yourself and create clarity on your path. And of course, last but not least, to check out my self-study numerology course and in-depth numerology certification studies if you want to acquire a deeper mastery of numerology. Remember that the links are all provided in the episode description. My friends, I hope you enjoyed this episode. And for me, of course, it's a pleasure always. And as always, I'll see you in the next episodes. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, and you want to go deeper into numerology, check out my website, tom-eckert.com. You can also book a numerology reading or even study numerology yourself through my courses. I'll see you in the next episode.